Hello, can you guys hear me? I just want to make sure that
Yeah,
you can.
yeah, yeah, we can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, please, if you're a co-host, you are to assist in accepting people and then muting some persons who might join the class without muting themselves, because I'll be focusing on trying to explain things and I wouldn't want to be all over the places. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity, Doctor.
Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let's wait a little bit, then I start. I think we can now start. Good evening, everyone. Um, Thank you so much for staying with us from the beginning of this program. And yeah, I have a lot of respect for each and every one of us who stayed, who tried to tune in and make it for from the beginning to the end of this program. This is going to be the last class, live class. And this is, I just wanted us to have this conversation today. And this conversation is to integrate whatever that we've learned and to see through the vision and the philosophy of Afrolongevity, what it is. If you look at your screen, you'll be seeing a whole lot of things. Afrolongevity, turning ancestral wisdom into biotechnology, and all that, just pay attention. And one of the things that I would want to do is to sincerely acknowledge your resilience. It's not easy. If you check the group now, we are 831 persons. It shows how intentional we are about things. It shows how we are pertinent about trivializing things. If you go to social media, people pay more attention to banters, things that add no value to lives, things that uh, wherever they are dragging, people that doesn't even care about their life. They pay more attention to issues like that, and they pay little or no attention to what affects them individually and collectively. So for you to stand out from the crowd means that you are a special person, and look at what is happening in the group. We started with 800 and we started with 800 and 855 or thereabouts. People started exiting. They thought that it's just a place where we come and I'll keep inundating them with how to cure diseases and all that. There is something that most people don't know. My page, my Facebook page, and okay, uh, my Facebook page and one other page that I'm handle the Afrolongevity page. They, we have members, people like you are the ones behind the pages, doing research, making posts, and you can also be part of those people. Some persons indicated interest, and they are still in the group. We need to have a meeting with them to integrate them properly. Now, on my page is like a group of people. It's not just me, there are people behind it. I'm just the face, and I always think that it was good to get people have basic knowledge about how to deal with these real world problems. And then you know how to, fish and not always asking. You don't experiment with life. You have to look at a preventative model, an upstream model and not downstream to deal with the challenges of life and the problem that comes with it. So that is another pointer that I had wanted to look at critically, right? So we started the first day, you saw the energy, people hundreds plus, some persons in YouTube, and you see some persons, they're not interested. But look at it, we are winding down, and it is just how many persons here? But when you look at, I've been doing this consistently. Consistency is a problem everywhere in our own life. Being consistent in doing this, we are not consistent. We just want to do things and then get it right immediately. We just want to treat ourselves and get the result immediately. After we must have accumulated damages, forgetting that it's a baby step. We just want to force the body. We just like things. That's why even in our religious places, we always fall for it. We are not interested in place that we learn and get the faith, understand. We want a place that there is signs and wonders. It's happening, it's working. No, that's not it. That's why people fall for trap for the trap of deceit and other things that comes with it. So most of us who are going to uh, pass through this program, get their certificate. Wherever you find yourself, you're going to be an ambassador of Afrolongevity. And if you are privileged to be a chapter leader or a leader in your chapter, you need to find a way to translate what you've been taught. We'll be having programs subsequently, maybe quarterly and other quarterly or biannual conference remotely aside our physical continental events and then our aside our various national events. People, chapters could decide to organize. So these are ways we can translate whatever that we've been taught throughout this program and to represent what Afro longevity stands for. And as a result, help. Because at the end, it's all about bridging the longevity divides, improving the quality of life, and helping at the end to close the life expectancy gap in our continent. Okay, so yeah, this is Afro Longevity. It's a subsidiary of TAFFD. I started TAFFD in I started TAFFD in 2017. In 20 in 20 18 and 19, we got incorporated in Georgia. And that is where I worked with Christopher K. Halley. Okay, I started with um, Sam Gohil. The full pronunciation is Satyajit Gohil. He's an Indian man. He was my first CEO. Then until I got Christopher K. Halley. And Christopher K. Halley worked as the CEO, and Sam became the CTO, the Chief Technological Officer of TAFFD. And in 2019, October, he passed. So when he passed, it became a very strong. The first 6 months was a problem. I tried to rebuild staffs because of some of the challenges I had. I tried to rebuild staffs. That was when I had people from different institutions, Facebook, and the chief judge of Dubai was my legal advisor. For some reason, I wouldn't want to mention the name. So it became so profound. The staff grew to the point that some persons became interested in trying to take it off from me, and that was when I had to um, get in touch to some of the legal advisors, some of my legal advisor, and Paul Spiegel was one of them. When I reached out to Paul, it was the first time that I was seeking for a legal counsel with regards to the company, yes, my company, because there are a whole lot of threats saying, oh, you are doing things illegal and that you are not compliant and all that. Things like this will come up when you become a chapter leader. So for compliance sake, I reached out to Paul. Paul looked at my document and he said that I am compliant. I have no problem. So uh, they wanted to use fear as a sales tools. People would try to bully you because as of then, I think I was actually nobody as such, and which I still think that I am not. Okay, so I did the fight and everything happened properly. What I did was, because I was overwhelmed, I had to step out from the leadership. So I asked the CEO to step down. He stepped down, and I entrusted it with people. Then I took a year to go refix myself. Now in that 1 year, because it's very important that you guys know this foundational history. So in this 1 year, building myself, um I had to get Tom Ross to be the CEO and also the president of TAFFD. TAFFD got other subsidiaries, all right, not just Afrolongevity. So TAFFD is registered as non-profit in the States and then for profit in South Africa and Nigeria. So after the Generation 4 IR event where Afrolongevity was launched, I we resolved that Brenda, who was the vice president, becomes the president, becomes the CEO. So the board resolved that I come back to my position as the president for as Tom Ross stepped out to contest for the U.S. presidential election and the largest election through the USTP party. So I started to review. I think what I did, what inspired me to step out of TAFFD to just be an ordinary founder and without taking a leadership position is to recalibrate myself. And it happened with the founder of Apple when he left Apple to rebuild himself. He took a break to rebuild himself, and to understand what it means to really lead. Look at the institution from outside. Sometimes when you look at institution internally, you see things differently. So I try to come up a little bit to look at things and then to I returned with a very different playbook and everything to really, fix things internally. So my return came with this Afrolongevity initiative because in one of my interviews, I was asked, what is your plan? As a future, what is your plan for the situation of Africa regarding the statistical reports uh, that outlines the life expectancy gaps in Africa? And for those born after COVID, what are you going to do? So it became something that I had to solve, a friction that I had to solve. So we started this Afrolongevity. But after doing it for some times, I realized that whatever you do in this life, community building is the key capacity building. It's not about being the face, but having the footprint across the continent, if this is really Afro longevity. So this is where you guys came into the picture, and this is what we stand for, right? We are the pioneering longevity science, you know, in Africa. And who are pioneers? The people that are doing this. Um, you don't need to be a clinician to pioneer an idea. You don't need to really be um, a researcher. In the longevity community, we have more of activists. We have more of policymakers. There need to be people who are out there. I want, I want in the nearest future where we can have member of Afro longevity being senators, being House of Reps, being presidents. You know what I mean? So that you can help formulate policies and executions that would help improve the quality of life of the people, where we place life at the center of everything and not where people place profit. You know, want to see a member of Afro longevity being proud of coming up with policies or ensuring that we have a better quality of life. Our sister who is based in US, our Ghana sister who is based in US, asked a very important question about how to have what's the plan to have diaspora leadership. If you look at this, the third paragraph before the vision, you will see where something like we do not merely seek collaboration, we engineer co-creation through strategic alliance, through alliance, thought leadership, and a Pan-African talent ecosystem with the longevity pathway for global consumption. So it's when we talk about Africans in Afro longevity, there are people of African descent, people whose parents are from Africa, parents from Africa, people who are based in Africa, right? And then people who got affinity. There are people we call Afri-fans and Afri-cynics. There are people who got affinity for Africa. They can actually influence what happened in Africa, you know. So you need those type of coordination. So our value proposition is we match cutting edge research, practical solutions, and African cultural wisdom to drive impactful outcomes in the longevity space. Now, let me get this thing rolling. Sorry. So I've explained all these things I've explained so much about Afro longevity, and there is something that people always think when you talk about aging. When I wait to UJ to talk about how to improve the quality of life of Africans. That's UJ, University of Johannesburg. Most of the professors got angry. They said, "Oh, so are you saying that because I'm 70 years that I'm sick?" I tried to explain the difference between biological age and chronological age, and I think it appeared also in your exam script. Right, so the Afrolongevity has zero tolerance for ageism. What is ageism? Ageism is treating people a certain way or trying to formulate a particular principle or a different goal for people because their chronological age is high. Now, um, which is why in the longevity community and longevity social, it is frowned upon when you ask people their age. You see that we are more interested in biological age than chronological age. So there are a lot of examples like that. You look at, for instance, Aubrey's first wife, Aubrey, is ways, she was ways older than Aubrey. Then you look at Professor Natasha Vitamore, ways older than the husband, for example, and other persons like that. So something that is uh, it's not something that is frowned upon. Some cultures also might not see it as feasible, but in the longevity community, we think that using chronological age to judge people is really wrong, right? Because most people that claim to be biologically younger might chronologically younger might be biologically older because of their lifestyle factors, how they eat, and how they interact with their environment. Professor Natasha would say that what you eat, when you eat, how you eat, where you eat, makes your longevity. So ageism is something that we wouldn't want to deal with. And because it is part of our cultural heritage to actually um, respect elders. Here, let me explain what I mean by rooted in African respect for elders. Afro-longevity view chronological aging as a phase of continuous strength and dignity that requires support for a perfect intrinsic capacity and vitality, right? Now, in Africa, we see old age. Now, old age is a way to explain living longer. Old age. Do you understand? So, um, we have a lot of respect for elders. So we don't overstretch that angle of chronological age, because you can't just talk down to an elder. You have to understand, irrespective of the fact that you are doing longevity, you are trying to help people live longer. It doesn't bridge the boundaries that you have to respect someone from Africa. It's our culture, and you cannot talk about longevity without talking about culture. So, which is why there is always, in Afro longevity, there is always a meeting point between cultural reference and modern health insight. So you can't throw away our culture because you want people to live longer. You're going to cause tension in the society. So what's our aim and objective? To advance longevity research. Research and development is key. Once you pass through this phase, we already have a research group. So those who are interested in research and development, we join the research. We'll keep on writing papers, looking for grants and funding to ensure that we place our name in the timeline of history. Now we promote educational awareness. So outreach is the foundational aspect of what we are here to do. We'll go into the communities, rural and urban communities, talk to them about how to improve the quality of their life. People shouldn't be excited. I always come to sometimes in DSTV, I tell them, don't buy modern or your so-called beverages to the villages. You are sending back sicknesses during festive period. You send them, and after the festive period, just a month or few weeks, you start hearing that your mom is sick, your uncle is sick. It's because of the inflammation that you sent home. You know that these are fuels. These are fuel that we inflame, that accelerate inflammation aging, and then it presents as waist pain and all that, or arthritis, as the case may be. No, we also have to influence policies. This one is something that I would want us to do when we have the needed resources. We go to the parliament to talk about policies. We talk about it in the media, and then as we push forward, we get to the parliament to talk about them. It's simple in some countries, but Nigeria, for now, I don't know when we get to the point where people start listening to issues like this. So through our R&D, research and development, we will start talking about omics technology, which is lacking in Africa. I've been advocating for this omics technology, be it proteomics and other forms of omics. So I don't know if I'm fast. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Am I fast?
Yes.
Yes.
No, you're good.
No,
you're
good.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
can hear.
Okay, thank you so much. So proteomics and all forms of omics. So now we cannot be talking about precision medicine, precision care. In this age and time, people are looking at treatment from the protein level. During my time when I studied precision medicine and drug development, there are basic things that I felt that I discovered as lacking in Africa. For instance, if I come to the hospital and we are still treating people based on their chronological age, I think there could be something like mismatch, right? I come to a clinic, for instance. I made this presentation when Charles Awuze invited me at the one of the launch of one of the programs of transhuman coin, right? So when Peter Zink came, Peter Zink called me too. So we sat together in Joburg. And I tried to explain all these things. If you come to Olive Day Clinic, for instance, in North Ride, and you're taking my sample and you ask, for example, how old are you? And I just mentioned my chronological age. You are treating me with chronological age, but it's not coherent with my biological age. Now, this is where the problem comes in. Most of us, we don't question the lack of pharmacovigilance in Africa and poor clinical trials. They could they could take samples of the white, then formulate a supplement or anything, or medication. With that, and the randomized trial, which is good, but the randomized trial, is it taken or done based on chronological age or biological age? That's where the problem. It's almost done with chronological age, and then the people taking it. Nobody talk about the biodiversity, genetic diversity of Africans. We are just living, by accident, and for me, it's complex. Most person might criticize it. It's better to have something than to have nothing. Yes, but no one talk about the side effects of all these things, right? Now, that's my problem with that. And I think that there is need for omics technology in Africa, and we should try to invent epigenetic clocks or aging clock for Africans, and there should be one in almost all the hospitals. I don't know if this is possible, but this is something that we need to really push for and ensure that we have them in in our clinics. Then I've talked about the need for genetic and evolutionary nutritionists in the hospital. We do not even have sound nutritionists. I've written so much about the problematics of diets in wellness and the healing process, where you go to clinics, you see people being placed on wrong diets using American Standard Dietary Plan for someone, Hafia, someone in Enugu. The person will die. I don't know what they're giving. And when you take those things, because when you take those things, the person might feel like they are recovering, but that you create more problem for them. So we need to do more and also see if we can have a gene sequencing. So in fact, look at diseases that might present in the nearest future to help navigate them properly. So all these things requires, funding, entrepreneurship, where people need to think deeply and we come together to solve problems that are unique to us. Then we try to look at the biodiversity. People think that that longevity is something for the elites. No, you can practice longevity by looking around your environment, ensuring that the natural gift, the gift of nature is being applied accordingly without spending so much on supplements. I'm doing a whole lot of work with my team. Most of these resources will be out sooner or later. We try to convert the advanced biohacks, looking for bioequivalent from natural herbs and lifestyle modulation that could help us translate them accordingly without without spending so much in our attempts to catch up with the rest of the world. So we also have to empower clinicians to address root causes of problems. They need to look at the upstreams, not just the downstream. There are three layers of treating people, which is the problem of the reason why most persons are constantly sick. You look at the sickness, the effect of the sickness without the pathogens, the disease causing agents, and then constantly refixing weakens the biological terrain and threshold, which needs to be optimized properly. And you have to treat the symptoms, treat the causes, and then fix the biological terrain, because immunity is like the solid foundation that helps you to live longer and healthier. So yeah, I would like you guys to take your time, visit the website. I've shared this severally. This is the leadership of Afrolongevity at the moment. So I take care of as the chief operating officer, founder. I try to look at operation to make sure that things falls into place accordingly. Professor Roche Buffenstein is our chief science and research advisor. This is Dr. Tamara Pfizer is in charge of innovation and education. This is our chief science officer, Dr. Nadine Hussein. Don't know, you guys will see them. This is the Goffredo Gujano, is in charge of the head of technical and technology officer, an Italian. This is the head of IT team. The final is is in charge of developing the digital assets. Currently, we are building our own blockchain technology to ensure that we connect people from Africa to direct pharmaceuticals that are doing things in longevity, so that people stop buying, substandard of fake drugs. Nigerian market, we operate, and most African countries, except Southern Africans, operate on the open markets, open drug markets, where everything truth is mixed with falsehood, thereby making it difficult for you to have access to quality or standard drugs. So this is our IT team, science and everything. So these are advisors. My boss, Aubrey de Grey, biomedical gerontologist, or he's our chief science advisor, and he's also the chief science officer of LIV, Longevity Escape Velocity Foundation. These are great people. Professor Roche Buffenstein, from University of Illinois, and she is she she did a breakthrough research on the molar rats. You can read up her research. So this is the great Professor Andre Meyer, doing a lot, Singapore. She's the founder of Longevity Academy, University of Singapore. Professor Rosalind Anderson. These are great people in our team. We are very strong. Don't underrate us. And you are also good at it. You're also part of this. These are strong professors of medicine. You can see Natasha Vitamore. You can see Paul Spiegel, the legal officer. This is Chogu Abdu. This is the president of Professor Elias Tambler, International Longevity Alliance. And these are just great people. So these are partners, Lifeboat Foundation. So there is something that I had wanted to talk about again. Let me see. Okay, why Africa? I don't know if you can still see my screen. Yeah. Okay. So why
Yes,
Africa? Thank you so much. Why Africa from the first place? So most persons seem not to understand that the origin of humanity is literally its future, right? Africa is the origin of humanity. Humanity started from Africa. And that is why I can stand anywhere in the world to talk about the reason why we are more experienced when it comes to diet. And this is why I can stand anywhere to talk about the reason we can boldly say that you can criticize our ancestors as much as you can. But any food that anyone is eating from across the world started from Africa. Plants, people started moving to other parts of the world, from Africa. Our ancestors took time to select food in their season and out of their season. So nobody should come and teach us how to eat right. Do you understand? Whatever they push down from to us is just disruption, which is why most of the refined food that they talk about, where they're trying to salvage in the name of advancement in food science, trying to preserve things, they are not. Most persons refuse to understand that they ended up making humanity lazy and then importing things that causes problem to the human condition. So what we are going to do different is to bring people back to their biodiversity, and you cannot do that without culture, the essence of culture. Some persons might say, did these things pass scientific inquiry or rigor? Don't worry. There is what we call, I've been mentioning this, intergenerational knowledge. It passed through intergenerational reform. For the past 100 years, we've never invented any food. This is to tell you how long it takes to invent a food, to discover that a plant is edible. Before the discovery, do you know how many persons that died in the process? Right? So these are the factors. I think we need to respect our ancestors that made these things possible, right? And which is why we don't need to rush into adopting frameworks that are not original to us. And which is why, if you look at, I'm conscientious and consistent in trying to picture a future where Africa needs to feature when it comes to the quest for longevity, right? It's one, talked about longevity. It's more than just living longer. It's about enhancing the quality of life as we grow old, right? You have to look at things like the intrinsic capacity and then the vitality to ensure that from the molecular, cellular, and metabolic point, everything is balanced. Look at the current state of Africa. Nobody cares about the low life expectancy gap. And our gatekeepers are not interested. Like the NAFDAC, the customs, and the policy makers. They don't know that it's a game that is being played to hack the system through what? The big farmers, the big food creates the problem, the big farmers provide solutions, and the big government benefit from it. So it is your own responsibility to take care of your life and then take it back from the people that profit from it. It is our sole responsibility to help our people take back their life from the people that profit from it. And who are those? I mentioned it earlier, the big foods that create the disease through inflammation, ultra-processed food that shorten the telomeres and all that. And then when you are sick, we get there is opportunity for the big farmers that never cured any disease, and they make you a lifelong customer. And when you go to the hospital, the doctor will always ask you, are you still taking your medication? When last did you take your medication? Some don't even ask you your lifestyle. Some do, right? So these are the things that you need to do, because our idea is to increase the number of healthy super centenarians with good intrinsic capacity and vitality. Who are centenarians? Centenarians are people who have lived up to 100 years plus. Super centenarians are people who have lived up to 120 above. So super centenarian needs to, it's not about being a super centenarian and you are like a vegetable. You need to be a super centenarian with firm intrinsic capacity and vitality, right? So these are the things that that we must do. And there are challenges. We cannot talk about whatever we want to do without looking at the challenges, right? The key challenges are political mismatch and corruption. It's a whole lot, it's a whole lot, for aging. Nigeria doesn't even have aging policy. I helped the South African government in 2023 during the reform. I tried, because in the committee, when I joined, they are very open to innovation, critical thinking, and all that. So when we started the meeting, it was few weeks or days to the BRICS. So one of the mandates given to them as a BRICS nation is to come up with aging policy. Aging policy that will help improve the quality of life of people. And the BRICS nation that have been complaining of having so much of older adults, right? And BRICS, I don't know, for those who don't know what BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. So the BRICS nation, they've expanded after that event in South Africa that year. So we're looking at it, a lot of professors, they were talking. I said, all you guys are saying boils down to the effect of aging. Can we look at the causes? We have a lot of gerontologies, but I come from an organization called Afrolongevity. In longevity, we look at the causes. Aging starts from birth. What are the aging policies? What are your aging policies? How do you help? If you take some of that was when I started talking about Nestle. Nestle adding sugar. Who is talking? Nestle adding sugar to infant formula and all that. I started calling some companies out and all that, mentioning names, and people were scared for my life. But individual countries, during that period, India sued them aggressively. They started giving reason why they put sugar in Nigeria. Sugar got no value, health value. I mean, added and refined sugar. Added sugar have no value. Now they say it's because of our test board that some persons complain their kids don't eat the formula if there is no sugar, so they had to add some grant. False marketing, corporate backed science. You see that? And was it not recently that DAFDA started doing something about Nestle, something that I've been talking about since? And some Nigerians came to threaten me, saying, oh, person will never build company, once spoil company. You know, we have that kind of mentality, and they don't even know you. And that's the greatest problem that we have. We see a critical review as an attempt to destroy companies. But nobody talks about the lives the company must have destroyed over the years. So Nigeria doesn't have aging policy, but I think I'm glad that South Africa had to change their aging 1998 aging policy in 2023. And it was a wonderful one. You look at their policies, it makes a lot of sense. You'll be excited to read that, right? So lack of basic health care. In my village, there's nothing like a health care. In fact, in Nigeria, I don't think that we have healthcare system. The problem here is not experts. We have one of the best clinicians from across the world. But unfortunately, what we have is sick care. We react to disease. We even start taking care of people when they are sick. Nobody cares about taking care of their parents or taking care of their life. Most of us don't even have protocol. We don't have protocols in taking care of our life. I know I write about it, even though that is a paid thing, but people would want to spend more in intervention than taking care of themselves, for them not to be sick, right? So yeah, so that is it. Lack of health care. We prefer sick care. In most cases, lack of sanitation. In fact, most people think that nutrition is, or what they call balanced diet, is eating bread in the morning with tea, in the afternoon spaghetti or fried eggs with Indomie. We were thinking like that in the past, and we thought that we were suffering and others were enjoying. So we've known better now. Everybody in this class knows better. So, right, so what are we doing differently? I've mentioned it before. Can classify it into three: educational awareness, research and development, advocacy, and policy. So that is just it. So the importance of policy in sorry, this is running fast. The importance of policy in longevity research. It shapes the environment, you know. Um, there are policy gap, the policies related to aging and longevity. We have explained this indirectly. We tend to not look at improving the life. We always want intervention. We don't think about mitigating these things. Anyways, why should we think about it, since our leaders take care of themselves outside? uh, uh, outside outside Africa. I remember one of my colleagues, Professor no Dr. Pfizer, telling me that one of the African presidents, one sub-Saharan African president, invite pays so much for her to come and take care of the health. So you see, things like that becomes problematic. Some of them do weekly. That's why you see them, you think they are dying. They are not dying anytime soon. They will use the taxpayers' money to take care of themselves. Some of them do a lot of high-level protocols. So it's our responsibility to build this research capacity, promote public-private partnership. We need to, there are some persons in this group that are so passionate about bringing us, giving us a close relationship with the government. We need to use the Nigerian event to make a statement. We need to make a statement with that event. It is our responsibility, because if we don't make a statement, people will still see us as like those doing talk show on social media. So we need to make a statement with that. We need to see ourselves and have some detailed conversation. So we have to enhance data collection. Uh, excuse me. You even talking is not easy. Our people our good people from Ebony, whenever you look at their obituary, you would think that these guys are the people blessed with the highest life expectancy. It's difficult to find an obituary from Ebony State that is below that is below 80 years. They will just write a phone number. You see 180, 150. So I think we need to do more on training validators. These are the things that I really I'm passionate about. So my greatest investment, or our greatest investment, should be to build a capacity to do things like this, validators. Some person that might try to do to further their program in this longevity program on being validators, and the person that we are working with is the person that validates for what do you call it, Guinness World Record, because they get data sets to confirm the validation. So there are a whole lot of protocols. Some of you did watch her program, So prioritize community-based intervention, very important. So the exponential technological opportunity that has to do with these things, because we have to look at cutting edge research and technology that will help us deal with these things, transform the healthcare sector, integrate traditional faith, and build our own. Because property rights is a thing in the world. Most persons are not even interested in most persons are not even interested in African materials, and we only want to use uh, that of the West. So it's something that we need to really think through. Um, I don't know. We don't even care about biodata in this part of the world. So it's problematic, and this is something that we need to fix properly. And translation of indigenous knowledge system becomes key. Most person makes their indigenous knowledge to be like a secret code. They don't review the process. Remember the time I made a post that I want to talk to some traditional healers. Some person I reach out to them, asking them about the formulas and approach. They are so secretive. Some said you have to pay. I am not going to do anything with your information. You know that I'm the person that you are telling this, and that I'm a very open person. Whatever I write a whole lot on Facebook. So some persons, I'm linking them to clients and patients and all that. There are a lot of persons that build their network through me and what I do. So it's not about me. The most important thing is for some persons to get their healing. So we need to be open, just as modern science is, so that people will not see what we do as pseudoscience. There should be a framework and there should be a regulation. So, sorry. So it's time for us to really come back to investing in our great continent, investing in ourselves, investing in what we do. So we resolve to come up with something in the nearest future where we ensure that people's initiative is being translated, incubated, and then positioned in a way that's it's connected to the the wider audience, the longevity community. Right. So what we want to do is to see how we can partner with individuals. You have your idea, you bring up your ideas, we collaborate, and then maybe either we sign an MOU or find a way to refine it or push it through collaboration, and then ensure that it stands out in the global community. So these are the things that I had wanted to share with us, and I will now open up for questions, conversation. Let me stop sharing so that If there are questions you want to ask, you can ask. Okay, thank you so much, guys. If you have questions, I think this is our last class. If you have questions, you can ask. Have comments, concerns, you can talk about them. Okay. Chimere, you can ask your question.
All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity, sir, for everything you've done. Okay. First to my question. My question is: you talked about in some communities where people tend to inflate the ages of some of their dead and loved ones, and I know that there were certain times that people could not really get the accurate age of their loved one, maybe due to some circumstances, maybe fire outbreak, wars, or maybe there were no advanced technologies then to actually get their actual age. So in situations like this, how do we get their actual age? Because everything we're talking about here, we've been talking about data and data-driven technology. So how can we be able to get their accurate age, which would help in our data moving forward?
Did you attend the don't go. Did you attend the centenarian and supercentenarian class?
Sorry, I didn't hear you, sir. Sorry.
Did you attend the centenarian and supercentenarian class?
Oh, no. I was absent in the class.
Okay, someone just made a comment. Read the comment.
All right.
Uh,
All right.
Taiwo, okay, Taiwo, you can send him the link, so you can check it up on the YouTube. So it was explained. Mm. Aubrey's wife taught that course, centenarian per centenarian. She's the leading one of the leading validators globally, but she's just a very humble person. She's the leading validator. So she wants to work with us to train validators for those who are interested in becoming validators. So that's it. Sorry. Okene, please. Okene, ask your question. Okay. Okena. Imagine me.
Sabadala, it's okay, Doc. Thank you so much once more, Dr. Osi. It's another wonderful presentation right there. So my question is, you made mention of what's it called again? Supplement. Yeah, Western supplements. That those Western supplements that we see in Nigerian market, that they are not formulated using the biodiversity or as in they didn't factor in the biodiversity of African people. You get so I want to understand, are you of the conclusion that those supplements, that they might not be uh, quite effective for Africans as it might be for the Westerners? So that is my
The
question.
West, thank you. The Westerners, I have a problem with the way we we deal with our health in Africa. Anything that is trendy, we want to get into it immediately. Ginseng came and everybody wants to buy ginseng. We have African herbs that are better than ginseng. I promise you. We have. Now, supplementation, and these supplement companies run into um, through what we call networking and network marketing. Some of the nonsense ones, and most of them have, like I said, there are a lot of products that are in Nigeria that are not even approved to enter kiosk in South Africa. But NAFDAC gave them approval. I have a product. We have a product that is so powerful, product that is so good. The day that I visited NAFDAC, these guys were calling number. And I said no. But in South Africa, it's being sold. Like there's a product that when you meet SAPRA is very detailed. SAPRA doesn't charge so much. SAPRA gets the data because we've gotten a letter from, I'm just giving an example, not promotion. We've done all the clinical trials. We've done all the necessary trials. We've done all the necessary validation, even with the US and everything. Now, South Africa will just look at those documents, do the confirmations, and they are good, right? But now, 40% to 60% of the products, medication in South African pharmaceuticals are not approved by SAPRA. Now, let me get a particular product here to read something. They will say that the claims, this product here, claims here are not approved by SAPRA. But guess what? It is in pharmacy. And you are not allowed to push, you are not, even if you have millions of rands or billions of rands, you are not allowed to open a pharmacy. Reason being that people will deregulate the market. There will be deregulation. For it to be regulated, pharmaceutical companies are only permitted to sell medicine. They are the one to push it. They are mandated to have a minute.
Outlet. Yes, sir.
Hello, can you hear me? So they are mandated to distribute. Can you hear me now? They are mandated to have retail shops that sells those medications. Now, I have there's a post I made, like I listed 6 products that doesn't have numbers in South Africa, but they have numbers in Nigeria. You can never see Nigerian products being sold in South Africa. You can't see, like, without the regulatory bodies are strict there. They care about, like, you take one medication, you know that this is proper. You won't see all these Indian companies' products anyhow in South Africa. You can't see them. So now, those supplements is even becoming the supplements that they are pushing in Nigeria. They're not pushing it in the sense that they are supplements. They are pushing it to become something. They are even falling into the ditch of some big farmers. It's becoming a routine. People call it routine drugs. I say, which one is routine drug? Look for the equivalent in food and eat well. There is the book that I'm proofreading that our research team, a different set, not Afrolongevity, that has been working on. Health of the Future Enterprise. So that book is to ensure that everything it's got 365 days scheduled, and it's mainly, unfortunately, it's mainly for Nigerians because it's it's it it's looked at every tribe, what you can get, both the minerals, both the vitamins, how you can eat right without introduction of beverages, refined carb, or anything foreign. Removed everything, because most people, remember, people always ask me, oh, if you remove all these things, what are we going to eat? As if our ancestors were eating, our ancestors ate sand and gravel in their time. We have food. So I tried to do that, and that the book is almost ready, and there is one for women. We are working for the one because we started 2 to 3 years ago. It was passing through editing and refines and all that. So that's just it. We have to do better as a people. I hope I did answer your question. Okay.
Yes, you did. Even beyond that.
Okay.
The issue has been, yes, the issue has been for me because I'm trying to be realistic now with this. In our society, the Nigerian society, mostly, in fact, both grassroots and the urban areas, most people are battling with one disease or with one, uh, old age, longevity. That's disease that has to do with chronological aging, as it were, till now, including diabetes, uh, ulcers, and all those metabolic syndromes. And all these things as a result of careless lifestyles, long before all those diseases start manifesting. So, as it were, and just like you pointed out, NAFDAC and the regulatory bodies, they are not helping matters. They can just, sanction anything, accept anything, provided that money is paid. So, I see that as if that we are in a very serious challenge, especially we that are in this movement. So it's really, really a very big problem for us. So I want to understand, how can we navigate this challenge now? Because for an average person that is managing maybe high BP or arthritis or rheumatism or whatever, if you come and be telling the person all these supplements that you are taking, that it should not be okay for you. They are modeled after Western health system and all those things. The person will be looking at you as if you are talking, out of point, or that you don't want to, that you don't know what you are talking about. So how can we penetrate or educate those people?
You don't need
Beyond,
you don't need to force you don't need to force anybody. What the most important thing is that you start talking about it and you start doing it. People will die. Those who want to die will die. Unfortunately, that's the hard truth. Do you know how many persons that died through corporate path science? I don't know if you've read my post about how much the sugar company, Association of Sugar Companies in US paid the founder of nutritionist department in Harvard. Do you know how much? There was a time that they wrote that sugar, scientific research, they didn't know that it was a pay that sugar helped in weight loss. I will share those things. So there is also something that is, it, once you guys pass out, I will share some resources, some classified information that you need to understand the game in the sector. So you don't need to force people. Just say what there is a way that you even pass the information, you start constituting nuisance. So when you try to there's a way you sound, people will think that there is something you want to benefit from, then living well. You see how some persons abuse me on Facebook, on my wall. So I just move on. I don't pick a fight with them. So the most important thing is for you to mobilize, strategize, have events. Some of you can organize, do Afro-longevity events in your communities during festive periods. You call people and talk to them, help them to think through and explain to them the need for healthy lifestyle. Yeah. So,
All right. Thank you so much. Please, lastly, please, don't be offended. You made mention of a book that you are still proofreading about.
once the book is out, you guys will know. You guys
All
will know. But I won't
all
share
right.
it in the group because Afro-longevity, just look up to my page on Facebook once it's out, or you just check out Health of the Future Enterprise. We do a whole lot of things there. To Afro-longevity, I don't want to look as if I gathered people, because somebody made that comment in the first cohort, and he's still in the group till date. I don't block people when they insult me or when people embarrass me in my group. Someone said, "Oh, this one that I've gathered people." The first cohort, that these classes, these high quality classes that people are not paying, that I will find a way to get money from them. The first cohort passed. Nobody gave me one kobo. This cohort again, and that is it. People must talk, and that's why I refrain from saying things about health or saying, okay, no, I have a different platform for that. I don't want it to look as if I gathered people and I'm doing prescriptions and all that for them, as if it's a business strategy. No, I always stress on things carefully. And that's why I said people should reach out and then understand the message behind why they are joining a particular group. So thank you.
right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think Agunloye. Sorry if I did mispronounce your name. After that, Akuma. Zama, can you ask the question?
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Thank you so much for the enlightening presentation, sir. So, sir, I want to ask, consider the peculiarity of Africa, or let me say Nigeria in particular, where we are still battling with preventable diseases. So, at what point do we bring conversation of longevity into the clinical setting? Because when they come in, we are more focused on removing the on curing the morbidity that is there already, but most time they come in at quite late, so it often results in mortality. And we know that most people, for example, people with hypertension now, most of them, diet they will not do, um exercise therapy they will not, and still they don't want to take their pills, and all of them still want to live long. So at what point do we bring conversation of longevity into the clinical setting when we are still even dealing with ordinary preventable diseases that they could have been prevented? Thank you.
Very important question. There are two phases in longevity. There's what we call the uh, preventative phase, and then the intervention. You know, the intervention, there is nothing you can do about it. You just have to deal with the issues. I think the first lecturer, the fourth lecturer talked about it. When you argue about prevention finish, he will tell you that there is still things that prevention can't deal with when it gets to a particular space. So they just have to pass through the procedure. And yes, you just keep saying, talking. There are some groups in the longevity field that are immortalists. So they talk about immortality, where they talk about cryopreservative, cryonics, cyborging, mind uploading. You guys, I'm not taking you guys to the critical aspect of these things. So, and they just talk about it. And this is where we talk about rights, what generational rights. Do people have rights to live? Do people have rights to die? But There are people that just want to, they don't want, there are some persons you ask in longevity conferences that will say, oh, they don't want to get to 100. They just want to enjoy their life and die. Just want to die at 80, 90. Some will say 70 is okay. They don't like people just hanging around, making them look so weak and frail and all that. So, yeah, I think what we just have to do is to ensure that our outreach is so strong in such a way that we can get people that will buy into it. And then, actually, most of our older adults loves traditional food, but they are becoming addicted. There are some persons that will come, oh, what can we substitute with sugar? Like, basic science tells you that the endpoint of carbohydrate is sugar at its metabolic state. Your body don't recognize the food structure. It recognizes its metabolic point, the metabolic point of the food. And you know that this thing will convert to sugar. If you want to add something, it doesn't make sense. You see, human beings are the most confused species of God's creation. Human beings are the people that we take what do you call it, sniper, we spread sniper on food like stockfish, dried fish, so that insects will not eat it. They do that with their vegetables in the farm, and they know that those things kill those insects, and they will still give it to their fellow human being to eat and have chronic diseases. Something is wrong with us as a species. We kill lower animals to prevent them from eating something, and then we in turn eat that thing. I was working on a book called How We Kill Ourselves. I got angry, I dumped the book. You go to area market, oh my God, for a field work, you see how people use sniper. You go to some other place, you see how people use dangerous chemical to preserve beans, to preserve what you eat. And I saw some person using silicate to preserve medicinal roots that they are pushing from another country to Nigeria. And there is nothing, our gatekeepers are not doing anything about it. So it is teleological. Our problem is teleological. Most of us know. Most of us, our parents, or even some of us sell foodstuffs. Our parents are selling foodstuff. We went to a field work in Lekki last year. We saw someone using chemical to soak cassava so that it will soften quickly. They will add a lot of things, so that they must produce. Most of us know though using dye to mix with red oil and sell. We've experienced it. We've seen a lot of things. Most people mix fiber with the first press of fruit oil, and then they push it into the market. So it's a whole lot. The day that I wrote about a data set information that we collected through most markets where people used substandard drugs. There is this company that was saying fake antibiotics. They had their office at a Kotu. They have been in production for 15 years. I mean, 15 years. Do you know that all the posts made about that company was, they later flagged it on social media and called it, what they call it? They call it something false information and all that. 15 years. Do you want me to go into this market in Lagos? There's this market in Lagos where they import cartons only to use it. They import cartons from China only to use it pack products produced in Nigeria as if it was produced in China. Alaba International. There are some sectors in Alaba where they recarve old tires and turn it to new one. They recarve it. And then we have accidents. We talk about, at the cost of that research, I got so irritated. We paid, we moved down to do it. to do the research. You see where people changing expiration dates using something spray to change expiration dates of products. And they tell you that it doesn't really matter. It's all about making money. So when we talk with facts. Some of you saw the post where I talked about, I addressed my Igbo brothers. And what happened? Some person said, you are trying to pull down your tribe. And that's nonsense. That whole nonsense. You know. So these are the things that we just need to, as a people, to deal with accordingly. And I think when we do our best, it will reflect in our various society. We cannot get it 100%, but yeah, I think we can do something. At least the little I'm doing, some of you are feeling the impact. So we cannot just say that Nigeria is irredeemable. We know, but at least there are some persons that always send me a message that, oh, since they started following me, that their life is this, that. I'm excited about it. Redeem one person first. Leave the 200 and something million people. Okay. Akuma, if you're there, you can ask your question. I think, Usamaka, if you're unable to ask this question today, then there is something wrong with your system, because you've been struggling to ask questions. This is the fourth time that I'm asking you. I'm seeing your hands up and you say you're saying something, but nothing happened. Never happened. Okay. Taiwo, you can ask your question. Why Osamaka struggles with gadgets?
Thank you. Yeah, I want to first of all appreciate you for investing in our lives because it's a great investment. And but secondly, this issue of validators, that lecture, I didn't know that there's something that of that nature before that class. And I have a friend who is also a researcher that told me that his mom is 105 or 107. So after that class, I tried to engage him that we had a class where they talked about centenary and super centenary and stuff like that. That when they were during that class, I thought of introducing his mom, and his countenance changed. It was like, so I now said something about validators, that they need to validate this, that, according to the lecturer that day. So I want to know, why is it that people try to hype their age, even, or their parents' age, even at that level? And secondly, do you think it's going to be easy for us to achieve this in terms of gathering data as validators? Thank you.
People ordinarily suffer from either inferiority complex or superiority complex. Most people want to show that their grandma lived longer because their grandma looked feeble and fragile and very old. And they want to just fit into the narrative. And if you ask them to prove, they can't, right? Impossibility is nothing. When I told you the problem we had. We wanted to submit a South African woman that was that South Africa claimed to be the oldest person. So they reached out to us. We submitted the name, and the validators team asked us to go get certain documents. We spent so much. We went to the Population Commission. They gave us later. They validated all documents. They gave us national ID and everything. We pushed it. They said they want to know the ages of the kids and the grandkids, and then to know if there are persons of the same age bracket. and they will do the deduction. You watch that lecture, so they do the deductions and everything, and that was when everything started not looking real. So there are a lot of things, and the only way that we presented Africans can do that is through using church labor, especially for the Catholics and others. They should have their baptismal card, but unfortunately most system doesn't have a functional labor, and libers should have been electronically uploaded where people can have data sets. In fact, let me tell you, one of the reasons why most countries don't accept Nigeria into their country is problem of data. I had a meeting with the security operatives in SA when we were asking why is it that we are having issue with the. They said validation is a problem. Nigeria will not allow other countries to plug their data set into their system. They don't because of the irregularities or even the so-called politicians, the crime records and all that. So there should be, we have data problem. The problem is data. When we look at Kenya, look at Nigeria, look at this girl, celebrity. You go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is saying she was 17 years when she got married. The international passport is saying the father is saying 90, the mother is saying this, the husband is saying this. To show you how poor. So which one are we gonna believe? Whatever you say is a public opinion. So it's a problem. We just have to do. And my vision initially was to build a site where we collect those data and place them so that when they want to validate centenarian and super centenarian, people can come to our site to look at it. So we just have to get funding, the needed funding, and we need to have a sound research team. Like I can't do that alone. Like me, sometimes I feel overwhelmed. I won't lie to you guys. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed. As I'm speaking now, I missed the call. Our CEO Brenda is calling me for a particular thing, and there are a whole lot of messages coming in. Like my to-do list, this today, I couldn't even finish 30%. Yeah, my PA sometimes feel overwhelmed too, so it can be hectic. But I must be in this class. So that is it. Thank you so much, guys. Any other question, concern before we call it a day? Let me check the charts. Okay, things will be better to keep. Yeah, thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for being part of this program. Just take the exams. They're very simple, easier than the last cohorts. Very easy. Do your best. I wish you all the best. Yeah, see you at the top. For those who can make it for the IMSU event, start planning. For those who are coming to Addis, make a plan for yourself. If it's your first international trip, let's see there, just send a DM after this and take good care of yourself. Indeed, knackered. And we're also planning for South African event to launch the Longevity Forum and also to implement all those things that Post-Spiegel keep hammering and all that. Wishing you guys all the best. Take good care of yourself. Life is larger than logic. Life is the single most important thing. Take care of yourself. The Igbos will say, Ndo kariri ihe ji azụ ya. which means life is more important than what you care for it with. So just ensure that you place yourself